What's up, everyone? This is Fang Sasha VA here coming at you with a new video. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing something a little bit on brand, but also a little bit different at the same time. Now, obviously, there are two truths about me that I'm sure that most of my viewers, aka you guys, know. I love video games, and I freaking love heavy metal. Heavy metal is my favorite music genre of all time. And the third truth is that all throughout video games being a medium, it has always interwoven with the metal and rock genres. No- Notable examples being, of course, Doom, where they took inspiration from famous metal bands. This past weekend, we had Two Doors close, and both of these acts are near and dear to my heart and to many other metalheads' hearts. That is, of course, is the fact that in Birmingham on the 5th this month, literally Saturday, it was the final show with Ozzy Osbourne as a solo artist, and also the final time all four original members of Black Sabbath performed. It was a beautiful tribute. So many different bands, so many different supergroups, where different musicians came out and they played some Sav songs, they played some Ozzy solo. They played other Birmingham songs like Steven Tyler from Aerosmith came out and he sang um, "Whole Lot of Love" by Zeppelin because two members of Zeppelin is from Birmingham, and then KK Downing, you know, formerly of Judas Priest, played "Breaking the Law." Why? Because Judas Priest is from Birmingham. So it was literally about not just celebrating Ozzy and Sabbath, but it's also celebrating metal and how much of a legacy Sabbath have left on the genre. To where over the years, there's been other bands that has continued to involve what they did on their famous debut album. Now, of course, with me being a gaming channel, I gotta talk about two games, no, three game series that's worth knowing that featured Ozzy's and Sabbath's music. The first one is probably how a lot of you, if you are into metal music, that you probably got introduced to it if you didn't already have parents that was already getting you into it or older siblings, is of course the Guitar Hero series. Now, Guitar Hero 1 features one song by Ozzy and one song by Sabbath. For Ozzy, it features Bark at the Moon from his third solo album, the first solo album that has Jake Healy on guitar. For Sabbath, they put in the classic Iron Man song from their second album, Paranoid. So there's two heavy hitters right there. In in Guitar Hero 2, they put in War Pigs, which is one of my personal favorites, which is also from the Paranoid album. Probably the most popular Guitar Hero game, which is Guitar Hero 3, they put Paranoid. the title track off of their third album. World Tour, where they featured Ozzy as an actual character that was singing, but you also had Zakk Wylde there playing guitar, who was officially his third recording guitar player, solo wise. In between Randy Rhoads, unfortunately passing, Jake Lee, they had two other guys. One of them being Brad Gillis of Night Ranger. But World Tour features Crazy Train, the all-time Ozzy Osbourne classic, and I believe that is it. And oh yeah, it also features Mr. Crowley, another classic Ozzy Osbourne song. Let me double check this, make sure I'm correct. Pretty sure I am. I am correct. Okay. Then in 5, they didn't have any songs in the main set list, but they did give Sabbath 3 DLC tracks, which is from their Master of Reality album, which is After Forever, one of my other personal favorites by Sabbath, Into the Void, and of course, Sweet Leaf, which is exactly what you think it is. Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock features Children of the Grave, another one of my favorites. Actually, fun fact, Master of Reality, the third Black Sabbath album, is my all-time favorite Sabbath album. And it also features a live track of Ozzy along with Metallica playing Paranoid. Grand Theft Auto also features some Ozzy and Sabbath stuff as well. In Vice City, it had Bark of the Moon. San Andreas, it had Hellraiser, but later versions of the game removed that song because of licensing. And I believe it was Grand Theft Auto 4 that they had Heaven and Hell, which is from the first Ronnie James Dio era Sabbath album called Heaven and Hell, which the Dio era is also very well. It's also very good. And then of course in Brutal Legend, the video game has Jack Black. That is a tribute to metal culture. It focus up here. It had Children of the Grave by Black Sabbath. It had Believer off of Diary of a Madman. It also had the title track Diary of a Madman. It had Mr. Crowley. Another one of my favorites by Sabbath, which is Symptom of the Universe. And yeah. So to say that Ozzy and Sabbath has a place in video game history is an understatement. And I'm sure that they have songs in Rock Band as well. But since this is but of course, I'm not going to pull up their games to to check because one, I'm in the middle of recording, and two, Rock Band has a lot of games. Now, arguably, when it comes to having metal music be ingrained in gaming culture, of course, the Sonic franchise, which is near to my heart because I am a Sonic tuber. I voice Sonic and Shadow on this channel. There are some very metal like songs in the Sonic franchise. Um, this machine from Sonic Heroes is a industrial metal song. Same thing with Throwing It All Away. A lot of the Crush 40 stuff can be considered pretty much like a exception of what people call hair metal, which is 80s hard rock. I mean, you also have on the actual version of With Me from Sonic and the Black Knight, you had Marty Friedman playing guitar on that song. And Marty Friedman was the guitar player of Megadeth for pretty much the entirety of the 90s, pretty much. And he also was the guitar player on my favorite Megadeth album, Holy Wars, The Punishment is Due. Metal and gaming fandoms, and even comics as well, have all converged. There's even like DC has a comic series that is basically about metal. There's a version of Spider-Man called Spider-Punk. I mean, even though that's not metal, punk rock was very influential to why bands like Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, Anthrax, that's where they got their speed from. It's from punk rock, mainly hardcore punk, which is a more faster variation of punk rock. So like bands like Black Flag, 80s Misfits, especially on the Earth AD album. I know a lot about music. Actually, that's actually my number one passion. I do play guitar and I do play bass, and I wouldn't be playing the music that I do without Sabbath, you know, creating the damn thing. In 2018, I saw Ozzy Osbourne live for the first and only time, and it was an amazing show. The impact Black Sabbath and Ozzy as a solo artist put that they created is so massive that future generations is going to be listening to their music. Here's the thing. Yes, people are, certain people are always going to gravitate towards to the popular music of the era. But if you guys want something that has a bit more substance to it, that has a bit more of a more message, something that I mean, something that will make you kind of sit back and think about certain things. Metal is that genre. Like Swifties are pretty loyal, but they're nowhere near as loyal as metalheads are. And we'll see which fans are still going to be loyal to the teeth. Because, and I mean this in no disrespect to anyone when I say this, but normally how it works is those fans that are into popular music, they always go to the next big thing. It's a proven fact. However, if they were to get out of their comfort zones and maybe start listening to other music than just what the radio's feeding them, they would learn that other genres are not like that. It's going to go back to what I've always said about movies and gaming. So what? Something that is popular automatically makes it good. What is good? What is bad? That is merely a subjective thing. Perfect example. Someone that plays Sonic Adventure 2 might play it and be like, yeah, this is or still is the greatest Sonic game of all time. Someone else might play it or replay it and be like, man, this game really sucks. I don't like it. Why do people praise this game for? The same can be said for music as well. Taylor Swift is really popular right now. And here's the thing. I do have respect for her. Because not only did she tell her crappy former, what was a manager, to basically F off, and she also re-recorded her songs, but she just this year got her publishing back for her early albums, and she had a massive tour. As a musician, I can respect that. As someone that likes music that is in polar that's on the other side of things, I do wonder how much longer Taylor Swift's popularity right now is going to last. Because again, someone's going to come along and everyone's going to be flooding to that person. It always happens. But going back to metal, and of course, video games, is that a lot of gamers are metalheads, and a lot of metalheads are gamers. The reason being is because they go hand in hand. A lot of metal songs deals with dragons, sorcery, knights, saving the damsel in distress. And what does a lot of video games do? They do the same thing. Why? Because during the 80s, that that stuff was popular because of Dungeons and Dragons. But here's the thing: Ronnie James Dio was singing stuff about that way before Dungeons and Dragons came out. So was the creator of Dungeons and Dragons inspired by Richie Blackmore and Rainbow, which had Ronnie James Dio singing in it, who did some amazing albums. There's always a beginning to everything. Some people in life are meant to be artists. Some people in life are meant to be cooks. Some people in life are meant to be doctors. You guys get what I mean. And then there's me who is meant to be a musician. And I guess you can say that I'm also meant to be a voice actor as well, because I'm also good at that too. Metal has brought me a lot of joy and still continue to bring me a lot of joy. It's not evil music. I don't have a secret, symbol underneath my bed. I don't have a dark robe in my closet. And no, certain metal genres are not how to word this. And no, I don't think certain metal genres are going to get you in trouble if you are religious or not. Whether or not you believe in a higher power, that's up to you. I know that I do. And that's only as far and the only thing I'm gonna say as far as religion goes is that I'm pretty sure the big man upstairs is far more worried about other stuff than me listening to music with dark lyrics in it. That's my general belief. How can something be so empowering be so bad? I never quite understood that with certain people. And just so that people are wondering if you guys are curious about the metal genre and if you guys want to get into it, these are my top 5 albums I recommend you start listening to if you want to get into it. Um, of course, there's probably going to be pictures with all this in here. So number 5 is definitely hmm, number 1 is any of the first 3 Sabbath albums. Either the first album, Paranoid, which is the more iconic one, and the Master of Reality, which is my absolute favorite. Or B, just listen to all three. Definitely listen to British Steel by Judas Priest. Um, with Maiden, Fire Maiden, I think I'm gonna go with the first 5 albums. So pretty much Iron Maiden self-titled, Killers, Number of the Beast, Peace of Mind, um, or Power Slave. This is going to be controversial a little bit because some people are going to be screaming at me that I should mention Master of Puppets, but for me, I got to go with Ride the Lightning. That is James Hetfield's favorite Metallica album. It is also, I think, listening to Ride the Lightning will make you maybe appreciate Master, kind of appreciate what they become with Master of Puppets, and also you can also appreciate what they were before on Kill 'Em All. And the fifth one Blizzard of Oz by Ozzy Osbourne. Those are my top 5 picks. Um, it's just crazy too that, you know, how much I've really have became more myself being into this genre. Like, if you saw pictures of me when I was younger, I had like either a Beatles haircut or like a military buzz cut style. I have long hair. You know, I play guitar, I play bass. I have band t-shirts. I'm wearing one right now. This is part of my identity. It's not a phase. And no, I'm not, I truly do love it. And the video games are also part of my identity too, which is why I think it's so cool that there's crossover between the two of them. And of course, and with movies as well, there's always some good rock and roll tracks or metal tracks being played in movies. I mean, freaking Iron Man 2 had freaking AC/DC shoot to thrill to open up the movie during the opening Stark Expo sequence. Like, you can't get more kick ass than that. I mean, and I believe in Shrek, in one of the Shrek movies, they had the Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin play. There's no getting away from this music, even if you don't, even if you don't like it. But if you're curious about it, definitely check out my recommendations. You know, um, thanks for not just creating my favorite music genre, but also helping me figure out more about myself. Without you guys, I wouldn't be playing guitar. I wouldn't be playing bass. And I hope that I can make all you guys proud with my own music and with my own playing so I can help just like everyone else, which is continue on the legacy that you guys have left. They're very big shoes to fill, which is why I got to find my own place in all of this. You know, I remember the first time I got my first Ozzy album. We went to, I think it was, as if it was either a Walmart or a Myers. We dropped my sister off at this place called the Dunes. It's a place that, I guess you can say that it's basically like a campsite. I guess it's right by the water and all that. And I remember there were several CDs I was considering, and the one I got was Blizzard of Oz by Ozzy Osbourne, and it was the 2002 version with the re-recorded bass and drums. By the time I didn't know that was a big controversial thing, I put it on, and it was one of those albums that completely changed my life. I spent so many hours on YouTube watching Ozzy Osbourne clips of him live. Same thing with Sabbath. So I want to thank you, Ozzy. I want to thank you as well, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, Bill Ward, and also I'm also gonna pay tribute to Ron James Dio as well. I know that this past weekend was about Ozzy, but you know, Heaven and Hell and the Mob Rules and the Humanizer are great follow ups from the Ozzy era, in my opinion. But yeah, with that said, enjoy your retirement. Hopefully, we get one more album from you. If not, that's totally fine. You have earned your flowers. All of you guys did, and hopefully, very soon I'll be up on that big stage. With that said, if you're new here, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and hit that bell button. And as always, I'll see you all in the next video.